Good morning and welcome back to today's episode of Monday Morning Mobility. I'm Jeff Blanchard and I'm here to share with you a little bit of information to help you live your life with less pain and get some ideas so you can get back on the road to recovery. Today's episode, topic is going to be pain in the shoulder blade area. So pain between the shoulder blades, pretty much right about there, is a very common thing. And so I wanted to share a little bit with you about where's this pain coming from. Usually the first thing we think about is, okay, if the pain is between the shoulder blades, it must be a problem right between the shoulder blades. That is true sometimes, and sometimes it's not true, because there's such a thing as pain referral. So let's say it's coming from someplace other than where the pain is located. So the most common location in your body that sends pain to the shoulder blade area is your neck. So we've talked a little bit about your neck in times past. We've talked about, okay, how can we tell if this pain is coming from the neck or coming from another place? So the best way to determine that is to go through some gentle neck motions to see, does this increase my pain or does it not increase my pain? So for example, there's looking down. Does looking down make me better or worse? There's looking all the way up. Does looking all the way up make me better or worse? So let's say, for example, you have a little bit of a pinched nerve in your neck. Typically, with a pinched nerve in your neck, that is going to bring it on. Or if you combine movements and do that and that, especially if it's over there on that left side, if I look over my left shoulder, that's maximally closing the joints on the left side of my neck. If there's a nerve on that side that's irritated and there's inflammation, you're more than likely going to kind of pinch that side, and then it's going to light up something. Some pain somewhere. It might be in the arm, it might be in your neck, it might be in your shoulder blade. If that's the case, if you find that is the case, you'll probably want to talk with your doctor or talk with your physical therapist to find out, how can I turn this thing around and get this thing doing better. So then there's also pain that's coming from that area. So I'm going to demonstrate or show you some pictures on this area, and we can talk about what is in that general area. All right, so I thought I would show you and in this poster here, the muscles of this area. So we have the spine, and then we have different layers of muscle. We have the more, what we call superficial layer, which is closer to the skin. This is your trapezius muscle, upper, middle, and lower. Underneath that, we have these guys. These are your rhomboids. So let's say the pain is right in that area there. So it could be muscle, it could be a certain muscle, depending on which muscle is maybe being overused, or it could be what's underneath the muscle, which is going to be joint. So all down the spine, you've got joints at every spinal level, and then underneath your shoulder blade, you have your ribs. So the ribs attach to the spine, that's another joint. So if you have, you can have a problem at the joint level, which will create pain in this zone. I will say that most often pain in this area is coming from posture and the way you use your body on a regular basis, which stresses out the muscle, it stresses out the joints below the muscle, and it also stresses out the fascia, which is the tissue in between the muscle layers and over top of the joints. And so we end up we can work on those different zones to try to resolve the pain. So as I was mentioning before, usually the thing that causes pain in that area, if it's not coming from your neck, if it's coming from that zone, is the way you align your body on a day-to-day basis. And typically it's the way you're sitting. Now, the very first episode I did of Monday Morning Mobility, we talked about ergonomics. We talked about the way your spine lines up as you sit from the side, and if your spine is in this curvy position, or is it more in a straighter position, properly supported. You want to make sure that your spine is properly supported when you're sitting, if you're going to be sitting for an extended period of time. Otherwise, you're going to typically have some pain back in that area. And then there's also reaching and lifting and those kinds of things, which can irritate that area if you're reaching and lifting repetitively. So you want to make sure you have the strength between the shoulder blades to be able to tolerate what you're doing. If you don't have what we call the interscapular strength to be able to handle the reaching and the lifting, then this is going to become painful over time. That would be an overuse injury. So I would reference you back to one of our earlier Monday morning mobility episodes where I demonstrate foam rolling. So if you foam roll your thoracic spine with the foam roll going this way, get yourself over that foam roll. That stretching can be helpful, but the number one thing that's going to be helpful is that you correct your alignment when you're sitting. So thank you for joining me for today's episode of Monday Morning Mobility. If this was helpful for you, please share this episode with someone. Let us know if there's something else that we can talk about that you would like to hear about. But until next time, keep yourself moving because motion is lotion.